Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. Today is another Vlogmas day, and I've got to cook up some food. We are completely out of food in the refrigerator, like for, dinners and lunches. So my husband would be on his own, and he doesn't like to cook that well except for scrambled eggs or something. So we had that yesterday, and he cooked breakfast yesterday, and by the time I ate it, it was lunchtime. But that was a pleasant surprise when the husband can cook for the wife. I think it's a blessing. For me, it doesn't happen too often, but it is a big blessing. But today I've got to get back on track with the cooking, and we're going to start with meatloaf, which is one of my husband's all-time favorites. Here are the ingredients we're going to use in this meatloaf I make all the time. Ground turkey, salt, pepper, ketchup, a little bit of milk, chopped onion, a couple eggs, some cracker crumbs or breadcrumbs, sage, parsley, and a little garlic powder. Preheat your oven to 350 and spray a large loaf pan. To prevent sticking, of course, I use canola oil spray. But of course you can use any non-stick spray you like. Now this is one of the easiest meat dishes I have ever made. You just take the ground turkey or ground beef if you're using ground beef and stir it in a medium to large pan. I'm using a large pan. Put in your eggs. You just put all your ingredients in and mix it all in there. And I don't use my hands. I'll show you what I do. Okay, beat up that egg in there really good. I've been making this for probably 30 years, the same way without a recipe. Okay, I may have had a recipe 30 years ago that I started with and I memorized it. Okay, sometimes I only use one egg if I have a little less than a pound, I guess. But I'm using 2 eggs if it's a pound or more. Okay, I like a good moist meatloaf. Just a little milk, not much. And why that's in there, I don't know. But that's what I've always used. Okay, stir that up really good. Add your onion. I'd rather touch the onion than the meat itself. If I can avoid touching the meat, I will. But some people really get their hands in there. I have another way of doing it. Mix that up really good. And then we're going to start adding like our seasonings. A little salt. You won't need much. You got cracker crumbs coming. A little pepper. Sprinkle them in there. Little sage. Sage always is really good in it, I think. Yeah. My husband loves this meatloaf. I've been making it since we've been married. Even before that, actually. This should be called a Marry Me meatloaf. Okay, a little garlic powder, not much. Now add just a little ketchup. Of course, you'll be putting ketchup on top of it too before you put it in the oven. Okay, just a little ketchup. Stir that around. And last but not least, now this will pull it together, the eggs and everything. And here are the cracker crumbs or the breadcrumbs if you're using breadcrumbs. And I don't use exact measurements, but I pretty much keep it, the same every time because I don't measure anything out for this. It's just by memory, but I'll try to retrack and give you the recipe. This is my recipe. Then I just take my meatloaf mix and I put it in the pan, and I use a large spoon to do it. And I always wash my hands afterward because at some point I do touch the meat. But I try not to if I can help it. So, right, put that aside. Then I just spread it out with the spoon, like this. Oh boy, I usually take a little brush, but I couldn't find it. So, or you can take back of a spoon and spread out the ketchup like this. You can also put a little dried or fresh parsley on this if you like. I put the meatloaf in the oven for 45 to 50 minutes. While the meatloaf is baking, I'm doing some cleanup. Anytime you work with raw meat, you need to be very cautious and use, I use dishwashing liquid. I use Palmolive and I swear by it. So I gotta take this out to the trash, and I got some chores to do around here. I need to get done. I mean, I got a whole 45 minutes to spare, so need to take full advantage of that. Now, it's been a while since I dusted, so I have quite a bit of dusting to do. I bet it's been a week and a half. It's been over a week, I can tell you that. So I need to move all these objects, all these knickknacks, and start on the dusting. Now, I may get my husband's help with this, moving the sofa. I want to sweep and mop behind the sofa and behind the speaker over there. It's really dusty. On the floor, I'm talking about. I need to sweep that out with an electric sweeper. And then I need to stand, while the couch is moved out, I could stand on a step ladder and get the very top of that and dust it. The other part, I can just stand there and dust it, but without the sofa there, it's much easier. It's 9:30, let's check on the meatloaf. I can see that it's done, for sure. So but I'm turning this up to 400, and I'll tell you why in a moment. I'm taking that meatloaf out right away, though. Here's what it looks like. Now I'm going to tell you why I turned it up to 400. Let me show you. I have some vegetables I want to chop up and roast at that temperature. I'm just giving my cutting board, my large cutting board, a good wipe down. And I'm going to wash my vegetables and start chopping them up. Okay, what I'm going to do is, see, I chopped up the sweet potato. I left the peelings on, but I cut off the bad spots. That took some time to do, actually. And then I have some green peppers. They were babies, and I had to pick them before they died out there, before they got frozen from the cold weather. So they were little, but they'll work. And I've got an onion I've got to chop up. But you see, I'm going to put this in a bowl, mix it with a little bit of olive oil, extra virgin olive oil, salt, pepper, and garlic powder. So this will be tasty. vegetables, especially the sweet potatoes, spread out as as far as possible so that they can cook faster, so they're not on top of each other, more or less is what I'm trying to say. So I'm going to put them in the oven for about, I believe it's 15 to 20 minutes. So. I'll check them after 15 minutes, I guess. They cook it very quickly at 400. Now it's time to remove the meatloaf from the pan and put it on a platter. I use 2 spatulas for this. There we go. I'm going to try a piece. Actually, I decided to hold off until the vegetables are done. So they still have about 7 or 8 minutes to go. So I gotta wait, and I'm getting hungry. I haven't had breakfast yet. I can't believe this. My husband's sleeping in. What? That is amazing. He hardly ever sleeps in anymore. He's usually up at 9 o'clock sharp, and it's after 10. I can't believe this. We do have some more time to kill. Here's my Santa Claus, and it's 19 days till Christmas. Now, you're reading this as 19, I hope, because I have it on 91. If it was 91 days till Christmas, I'd be out in the garden working. I'd say, Christmas is way down the road. Guess what? I found my Christmas tree down the basement. So I'm going to play around with this right now. I'm not going to put it up. I'm just going to bring it out of the box. Put it out of the box. Sitting down, I'm tired of it on my feet all morning. But I'm trying to get into this box without tearing it up. If I tear up this box, my husband will throw a fit. He is picky about that. I put it away, but I think he secured it. Because I didn't. I'm not as picky as he is about certain things. Then I'm pickier about other things, like cleaning. I don't like a lot of dust. Okay. Let's see if we can set this up real fast. I think it's going to be real easy. It's small. Okay. Just putting a little stand. This is so easy compared to the trees from years ago, the artificial ones. Because my parents, for years, we had a real tree when I was a kid. We always went to a Christmas tree lot, and we got a Christmas tree for the first 10 years of my life. And then after, when I was about 11 or 12, Mom started, I think she went and bought an artificial tree to make it easier. And she saved money over the years with the artificial. This is done. All I got to do is fluff out the branches. Now this is subject to change, but I just put it on a speaker back here in the corner. This tree is small enough, I will move it around wherever I see fit for it to be. I might want to put it on the front porch for the mailman to see when it gets closer to Christmas, and I will have it decorated too. I'm going to fluff out the branches, but I don't know that I'm going to do it today. I don't think I have enough time. I will in the next video, I guess. Hopefully. Let's take a look at the veggies. To me, they look done, but someone like my husband wants them roasted longer to the point where they're crispy. I'll have to try one. I'll go ahead and try one. A sweet potato. It's not crispy, but it's done. I'm going to turn it up to 450 and let him make sure. You got to watch it at this point because they might burn some of them. He likes a little burnt onion. I don't know. He's a weirdo. I kind of like it too, the taste of it. So he would want these to be crispier. So maybe 425 would be better, but I've done it at 400 before. Many times, that's usually what I do. That's my go-to. But for some reason, they're not crisping up. Well, they've only been in there 15 minutes anyway. So another 5 minutes, they should be fine. But I did raise the temperature, so I got to watch this closely so everything doesn't burn into a crisp or anything. These are done, and some of the onions are burnt. And my husband will love that. For a beautiful presentation, I'm going to put these roasted vegetables on the side of the meatloaf, just like this. Here is the finished product. This was one of the easiest meals I've ever made in my entire life. This was so much easier than the Cornish hen, green bean casserole, and apple brown Betty that I made last week. I believe it was last week or the week before. This was so much easier than that. Oh my gosh, you've got to make this. My husband just said it smells heavenly in here. And that made me feel so good. I'm going to try the meatloaf. It tastes like it always does. For years. Whether I use ground beef or ground turkey, it's always good. So I'll try to compile a recipe together, and it may not be right away, but real soon here, and you'll see that under the comments. Okay, this has been a fun Vlogmas cooking day. I hope you all have a very nice weekend. I'll catch you on the next one.